Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says discussions on global growth cannot happen just between a few, stresses on broader agenda. Prime Minister to hold a virtual summit with his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc this afternoon. Government invites farmers for next round of talks. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar says welfare of farmers and agriculture industry is at the core of all initiatives by the centre. And national COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.53%. Fatality rate declines sharply. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said societies that are open-minded, democratic and transparent are better suited to innovate. Addressing the 6th Indo-Japan Samvad Conference virtually today, the Prime Minister said discussions on global growth cannot happen just between a few and stressed that the agenda must be broader and growth patterns must follow a human-centric approach. The PM envisioned that this decade and beyond will belong to those societies that place a premium on learning and innovating together. He said innovation is the cornerstone to human empowerment and true learning should promote innovation. Highlighting the importance of this Samvad Forum to promote the ideas and ideals of Lord Buddha, Mr. Modi proposed the creation of a library related to traditional Buddhist literature and scriptures.
I would like to propose the creation of a library of all such traditional Buddhist literature and scriptures. We will be happy to create such a facility in India and will provide appropriate resources for it. The library will collect digital copies of all such Buddhist literature from different countries. It will aim to translate them and make them freely available to all monks and scholars of Buddhism.
He said the library will not only be a depository of literature, but it will also be a platform for research and dialogue between human beings, societies, and man and nature. He added that its research mandate will also include examining how Buddha's message can guide our modern world against contemporary challenges like poverty, racism, extremism, gender discrimination, climate change, and many others. He said that Buddhist teaching will lead the civilization to a better future.
Lord Buddha's teachings command the strength to turn the discourse from enmity to empowerment. His teachings make us large-hearted. They tell us, learn from the past and work toward the better future.
Stressing on the need for Samvad, the Prime Minister said it should spread the spirit of positivity, unity and compassion across our planet. He said the essence of Samvad remains togetherness and this is the time to draw upon our ancient values and prepare for the times to come. He emphasized that humanism must be the core of our policies and harmonious coexistence with nature must be made the central pillar of our existence.
This is the best service we can do for our future generations. Friends, the essence of Samvad remains togetherness. Let Samvad bring out the best in us together. This is the time to draw upon our ancient values and prepare for the times to come. We must keep humanism at the core of our policies. We must make harmonious coexistence with nature at the central pillar of our existence. Samvad, a dialogue with ourselves, with fellow human beings, and with nature can light our way on this path.
He thanked the government of Japan for their constant support to Samvad. Ahead of the conference, Prime Minister Modi tweeted that this forum has grown immensely over the years and it has contributed to discourses around furthering global peace, harmony and brotherhood. The Samvad conference revolves around the need to build the future of Asia on the positive influence of traditions of non-violence and democracy in Asia. The first conference, Samvad 1, was held in New Delhi and at Bodh Gaya in 2015.
In Bihar, the World Heritage Site Mahavira in Bodh Gaya has been opened from today as per normal schedule from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. The 80-feet Buddha statue in the heritage town has also been opened for visitors. Prime Minister will hold virtual summit with his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc today. During the summit, the two leaders will exchange views on wide-ranging bilateral, regional and global issues and provide guidance for the future development of India-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. In 2020, both the countries continued high-level exchanges. Vice President of Vietnam, Ms. Dang Chi Ngoc Thing, came to India in February this year on an official visit. Both Prime Ministers had a telephonic conversation on the 13th of April this year to discuss the situation arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The 17th edition of the Joint Commission meeting, virtually co-chaired by the two foreign ministers, was held on 25th August 2020. Defence Minister held an online meeting with his counterpart on the 27th of last month.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the inaugural address at the India International Science Festival Iisf 2020 tomorrow through video conferencing. Union Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan, will also be present on the occasion. To promote scientific temper in society, the Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Sciences, in association with Vigyan Bharati, conceptualized the India International Science Festival. Launched in 2015, Iisf is a celebration to promote science and technology. In Uttar Pradesh, Prime Minister Modi will be the chief guest at the virtual centenary celebrations of Aligarh Muslim University tomorrow. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
This is for the first time in over 5 decades that any Prime Minister of India will attend and function at Aligarh Muslim University. Earlier to this, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri attended an event at AMU in 1964. The preparations are in full swing and people are seen very much enthused and happy to see Prime Minister at the campus. The participation of Prime Minister in AMU will open new era there. AMU Vice Chancellor Tariq Mansoor said that AMU community is thankful to Shri Modi ji for accepting the invitation to participate in the celebrations marking 100 years of the university. According to university officials, Prime Minister Shri Modi will release a special postal stamp to mark the occasion. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank will also join the event via video conferencing. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
Union Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has stressed that science must become a public movement in the country through promotion of achievements in various fields by Indian scientists. Addressing the curtain raiser media conference on India International Science Festival 2020 in New Delhi today, the minister said this will provide a platform for the dissemination of information related to science and technology. He said this will also trigger interest in the younger generations towards science. Highlighting the importance of science in tackling various challenges, Dr. Harshvardhan said scientists rose up to the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. He termed the year 2020 as a science year for making beneficial steps for the humankind. Appreciating the role of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for supporting the scientists and building an ecosystem for development of the science and technology sector in the country, he said Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan has played a remarkable role in making India self-reliant in the health sector.
हम कैसे आत्मनिर्भर विषम परिस्थितियों के बावजूद भी हो सकते हैं, उसका उदाहरण शायद कोविड की जो जंग है उससे बड़ा कोई उदाहरण नहीं है। कैसे वैज्ञानिकों ने, चाहे वो पीपीई किट्स हो, चाहे वो वेंटिलेटर्स हो, चाहे वो N95 मास्क हो, चाहे वो नई नई दवाओं की डिस्कवरी हो, रीपर्पसिंग हो, चाहे वायरस का आइसोलेशन हो, चाहे वायरस की जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग हो, और चाहे एक थोड़े समय में वैक्सीन का डेवलपमेंट हो, इतने प्रकार के आयामों पर हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने काम किया है। इसी नाते प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो वो कॉन्फिडेंस दिया आत्मनिर्भर भारत का, उसके कारण ये सब कुछ संभव हुआ।
He said Indian scientists have done instrumental works in genome sequencing, isolation and vaccine development of COVID-19 in a short span. Replying to a media query, Dr. Harshvardhan said the government is alert following the discovery of the new strain of coronavirus in the UK and said there is no need to panic. He added that the panic so far is imaginary. The minister also reiterated that the central government has taken timely steps with regard to COVID-19.
मैं सिर्फ आपसे सबसे ये कहूंगा कि अभी ये सब इमेजिनरी सिचुएशंस, इमेजिनरी बातें, इमेजिनरी पैनिक, इन सब के अंदर आप अपने आप को मत उलझाइए। सरकार हर बात के लिए पूरी तरह से सजग है और जैसे पिछले एक साल में आपने देखा कि सरकार ने आवश्यकता के अनुरूप जनता के हितों की रक्षा करने के लिए जो जिस समय पर आवश्यकता किया, वो सारी चीजें सरकार देख रही है, लेकिन अभी कोई इतना पैनिक का कोई कारण नहीं है।
Giving the details of the 6th edition of the India International Science Festival Iisf 2020, the minister said this will be held from 22nd to 25th of this month. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the event tomorrow evening. Large number of scientists and institutions from India and abroad will participate in this grand event.
The Gujarat government will start Deen Dayal clinics in towns and cities which have more than 1 lakh population. This was announced by Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel in Ahmedabad. He said that such medical infrastructure will offer medical services to poor people at their doorstep. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Deen Dayal clinics will be opened in urban and semi-urban pockets on OPD basis, which will work during 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Such clinics will be in addition to the urban health centers already functioning in the state. Patients who need hospitalization will be referred to the nearest hospital by such clinics. Medical consultation and treatment in such clinics will be totally free of cost. Gujarat government has asked all municipal corporations to identify places to set up such clinics with the support of State Health Department, municipal corporations and municipalities. Deen Dayal clinics will offer health services to the poor people who cannot reach urban health centers. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today held pre-budget consultations with leading experts in infrastructure, energy and climate change in New Delhi. The meeting, held in connection with the forthcoming Union Budget 2021-22, was attended by Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur, Finance Secretary Dr. A.B. Pandey, Secretary Department of Economic Affairs Tarun Bajaj and Chief Economic Advisor K.V. Subramanian, besides other senior officials. This is the 11th pre-budget consultation meeting. Earlier, the minister had meetings with captains of financial and capital markets, top industrialists, industry and commerce associations, trade bodies and experts, and others to seek ideas for the union budget.
In our special series Year Under 2020, today we bring you a report on Swachh Bharat mission. The Narendra Modi government has laid a lot of emphasis on making Clean India or Swachh Bharat a mass movement. Inaugurating the Rashtriya Swachhata Kendra in New Delhi on 8th August this year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has brought about a permanent change in social consciousness and behavior of people. He said cleanliness drive has been a big support in the fight against coronavirus.
देश के बच्चे में पर्सनल और सोशल हाइजीन को लेकर जो चेतना पैदा हुई, उसका बहुत बड़ा लाभ कोरोना के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भी मिल रहा है। जब भारत की 60% आबादी खुले में शौच के लिए मजबूर थी, स्वच्छाग्रह ने कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई में हमें बहुत बड़ा सहारा दिया है।
Talking exclusively to AIR News, Secretary, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, UP Singh, said that Swachh Bharat mission has played a significant role in disease control. He said it has also played an important role during COVID period.
स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में करीब 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा टॉयलेट बनाए गए, उनका सदुपयोग भी सुनिश्चित किया गया और इससे सैनिटेशन को काफी बढ़ावा मिला है। और जैसा कि सब जानते हैं, चाहे कोविड महामारी हो या दूसरी तरह की बीमारियां हो, स्वच्छ जल की उपलब्धता और सैनिटेशन, इन दोनों ने अपनी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है।
Our correspondent reports that people's participation has made Swachh Bharat mission the world's largest behavior change program.
The Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is the most significant cleanliness campaign by the government. It has transformed rural sanitation in the country and has changed the behavior of over 60 crore people from open defecation to using a toilet. The mission has focused on rural and urban areas separately and played a crucial role in ensuring sanitation in the country. India has received high praise from the international community for this and set a precedent for the rest of the world to follow. Since the launch of Swachh Bharat mission in 2014, more than 10 crore 73 lakh individual toilets have been constructed across the country. Rural areas in all the states have declared themselves open defecation free (ODF) on 2nd October last year. 35 states and union territories have been declared open defecation free. More than 6 lakh villages have been declared ODF villages. The sanitation coverage in the rural areas of the country has increased to 100%, which was over 38% during the launch of the mission. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Swachh Bharat has become very crucial, reminding people of how crucial sanitation and hygiene are to prevent diseases. Hand washing has become an effective tool to prevent COVID-19 and other diseases. Due to the concerted efforts of the government, hand hygiene has now become a Jan Andolan in the post-COVID world. People have now become aware that if they have to keep diseases at bay, they must ensure proper hygiene. Swachh Bharat mission is now in its second phase, aiming to take India's villages from open defecation-free ODF to ODF+, with a strong focus on sustaining ODF status and ensuring solid and liquid waste management for all. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says discussions on global growth cannot happen just between a few. Stresses on broader agenda. Prime Minister to hold virtual summit with his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc this afternoon. Government invites farmers for next round of talks. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Zavadekar says welfare of farmers and agriculture industry is at the core of all initiatives by the centre. And national COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.53%, fatality rate declines sharply. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The government has asked farmers to choose a date for the next round of talks. In a letter to farmer unions, Joint Secretary in the Agriculture Ministry Vivek Agrawal urged them for a dialogue to resolve the issue. He said the centre is making all efforts to find an appropriate solution to resolve all the issues raised by the farmers with an open mind. Mr. Agrawal said the government intends to convene the next meeting at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi for resolving the issue. He also mentioned that the government held meetings with several other farmers' organizations and sought their suggestions on the matter. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Zavadekar has said the government is doing its best to bring about emerging technologies in agriculture by upgrading the National E-Governance Project for Agriculture. In a tweet, Mr. Zavadekar said the welfare of farmers and the agriculture industry is at the core of all these initiatives by the centre.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has further improved to 95.53% as more than 25,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 96,06,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 3.02% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is around 3,03,000. India has one of the lowest COVID-19 deaths per million population globally, which stands at 105. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that after consultation with experts, government has prioritized 30 crore people for COVID vaccine. It includes health workers, frontline workers like police, military and sanitation staff. Talking to a news agency, he said vaccine will also be given to persons above 50 years and those who are below 50 years suffering from certain diseases. The minister said government's first priority has been safety and effectiveness of vaccines and we will not compromise on that.
जनवरी के महीने में भी कभी किसी भी स्टेज पे किसी भी सप्ताह में ऐसा समय आ सकता है जब हम भारत के लोगों को पहला जो वैक्सीन का शॉट है वो देने की स्थिति में आ जाए.
Madhya Pradesh continues to report more COVID-19 recoveries than positive cases as the state registers decline in active cases. More than 2,16,000 patients have recovered from COVID infection in the state so far. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
According to Health Bulletin of State Department, 1,274 patients recovered yesterday. 28,525 tests have been carried out in the state yesterday, out of which 1,069 new positive cases were reported. Maximum COVID positive case, 395 registered at Indore, followed by 204 at Bhopal and 38 at Gwalior. With 13 patients succumbing to the infection, the death toll rose to 3,481. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Bihar, over 2,40,000 patients have so far recovered from the COVID-19 infection and the number of active cases is continuously declining. Currently, the state has over 4,000 cases. 584 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, while 599 new cases were reported. The recovery rate has also improved to 97.44% in the state. The number of new COVID cases in Rajasthan has come down below 1,000 mark today. With 978 new cases reported yesterday, the total number of cases has gone up to 2,98,996. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
In the last week of November, 1,000 cases were reported daily in Jaipur and Jodhpur districts, which has now been reduced to 400. In spite of decrease in number of new infection cases in the last 20 days, more than 30% of the infected people of the entire state are being reported in these two districts. There has also been a decline in the number of active cases in these big districts. Meanwhile, the total number of infections of COVID samples in the state has crossed 50 lakh yesterday. All investigations in the state have been done using RT-PCR technique. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Mizoram, the number of active cases of COVID-19 is gradually declining and stands at 154. Also, the recovery rate of coronavirus has improved to 96.14%. In the past 24 hours, the state has recorded 2 new positive cases while 6 patients recovered. According to the state medical bulletin, 3,963 have recovered so far. In Tripura, the number of active cases of COVID-19 has dropped down to 226 as of today, and the recovery rate has also improved to 98.17%. In the past 24 hours, 22 new cases were recorded along with the recovery of 29 infected people. Also, death of 2 patients was reported, taking the toll to 377. According to the State Health Bulletin, so far 32,538 have been cured out of the total 33,167 positive cases registered so far. In Puducherry, the number of new COVID-19 cases has shown a declining trend for the last many days, with 14 new cases being reported today. Our correspondent reports that the recovery rate stands at 97.46% and the fatality rate is at 1.66%.
According to the COVID-19 statistics released by the Health Department, of the 14 new cases, 6 cases from Puducherry region, 1 case from Karaikal, 7 cases from Mahe region, no case reported from Yanam region, and only 1 death is reported from Karaikal. 26 persons were discharged from hospitals. Presently, 192 persons are being treated in hospitals and another 140 positive cases are under home isolation, with a total number of 332 active cases here. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy on his 48th birthday. In a tweet, Mr. Modi prayed for a healthy and long life for Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy. Meanwhile, the YSR Congress Party has organized several social service activities to mark the occasion. Our correspondent reports that political leaders cutting across party lines and cabinet ministers have extended greetings to Mr. Reddy.
The Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and YSR Congress Party President YS Jagan Mohan Reddy has turned 48 today. His party workers and leaders have been celebrating his birthday for the last few days by promoting the state government's welfare schemes. The party leaders have asked the rank and file to adhere to COVID-19 guidelines while gathering for celebrations. Jagan Mohan Reddy has been receiving warm birthday greetings from his friends in politics and film industry. Dr. G. Kondal Rao, AIR News, Vijayawada.
Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh has said that electricity service providers will be penalized if they provide poor service to consumers. He said the government is committed to protect the rights of the consumers while making an announcement of rules laying down power consumer rights. The minister said the government is empowering the common man through the new rules and now consumers are no more powerless. He emphasized that everyone must know their rights and available remedies.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have a partly cloudy sky and the temperatures will hover between 9 and 22 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, the sky will be mainly clear. The minimum temperature was 21 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees Celsius. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 21 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will vary between 12 and 22 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Srinagar, partly cloudy sky is expected with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum temperature was -4 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 8 degrees. In Jammu, the lower level of temperature was 6 degrees Celsius, while the upper level will be around 20 degrees. The city will witness mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh will have an overcast sky. The minimum temperature dipped to -10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around -1 degree. In Gilgit, the sky will be mainly clear. The temperature will hover between -7 and 10 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the sky will be generally cloudy. The temperature will hover between 4 and 15 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 5 and 22 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Chandigarh is expected to have a generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 4 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be 20 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. The city witnessed fog during the early morning hours. Ahmedabad will see mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 28 degrees. Patna will witness dense fog with temperatures hovering between 8 and 20 degrees Celsius.
A 6-member team comprising high-level central administrative officials is assessing losses of kharif crops due to rains during the monsoon season in Maharashtra. The team, led by Ramesh Ganta, comprising Mr. R.P. Kaul, Mr. Yashpal, R.P. Singh, Tushar Vyas, S.S. Sahare, arrived yesterday in Aurangabad. A report from our Mumbai correspondent.
The central team today visited 9 villages in Aurangabad and met some of the farmers and interacted with them to understand their problems. The officials inspected various crops like soybean, maize, bajra and sweet lemon and took stock of the damage during the interaction with the farmers. They also ensured that whether the farmers received any kind of assistance from the state government and how much loss of seeds and fertilizers the farmers had incurred during the incessant rains in September and October this year. Divisional Commissioner Sunil Kendrekar had submitted a detailed report of the damage to the central team during yesterday's meeting with the help of a presentation. After their survey, the team will submit its report to the central government to take further decision. The central team will tour many parts of Maharashtra till December 26. After Aurangabad, the team will visit Vidarbha, Pune divisions and take the stock of the damage by visiting Solapur, Pune, Nagpur, Gadchiroli, Chandrapur and Bhandara. Due to the heavy rains, 37 lakh farmers have lost their crops spread over 26 lakh hectares of land in Maharashtra. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Sports Ministry has approved the inclusion of 4 indigenous games to be a part of Khelo India Youth Games 2021, scheduled to take place in Haryana. The games include Gatka, Kalaripayattu, Thangta and Malkhamb. Speaking about the decision, Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju said India has a rich heritage of indigenous sports and it is a priority for the Sports Ministry to preserve, promote and popularize these games. He said there is no better platform than the Khelo India Games where athletes of these games can compete. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says discussions on global growth cannot happen just between a few, stresses on broader agenda. Prime Minister to hold virtual summit with his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc this afternoon. Government invites farmers for next round of talks. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar says welfare of farmers and agriculture industry is at the core of all initiatives by the centre. And national COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.53%. Fatality rate declines sharply. And with that we end the midday news.